Chris Oldland, Editor-in-Chief of Field Service News. For our most recent webinar, I was joined by not one but two fantastic guests. First of all, there was Bill Pollock, and for those of you that read Field Service News on a regular basis, Bill needs no introduction. He's a fantastic analyst, and we were very lucky to have a great presentation from Bill looking at how European companies, and those specifically within the UK, are faring against those across the other side of the Atlantic. And this presentation was based around data from Bill's most recent benchmarker report, so some really special insight there. We were also joined by Nick Shipton of scheduling specialist Kirona, and Nick was looking at how the technology that's available today can help some companies move towards the kind of best-in-class levels that we saw come out of Bill's research. As always, there was a fantastic Q&A towards the end of the session, and that's what we're going to be showing you here today. But if you would like to download the full webinar, please just click the links below. There'll be a brief registration form, and the full hour and 20-minute presentation can be yours. Anyway, let's crack on. But the first question I've got, guys, and I'll put this, Bill, I'll put this back to yourself first, but Nick, it'd be great to have your insight on this. One of the things I took from your presentation, Bill, was the top strategic action for field service companies is to improve and develop metrics and KPIs. And Nick, this kind of came through very much in terms of the info suite section of your presentation. Just how important a role does technology play in enabling companies to measure and then manage these metrics? Bill, can you give me your thoughts on that one first?
Sure. Well, the technology plays a very key role in this because it serves a number of purposes. Number one, it's an enabler because through the new technology and some of the business intelligence and analytics and knowledge management functionality that you get from a solution like Kirona's, for the first time for many organizations, they've got the opportunity to actually collect data that they could not collect before. So they're collecting it now, and it doesn't take very long before you realize we're collecting all this great data. What are we supposed to be doing with it? And that's where the recognition that we've got to develop or improve our KPI program comes into play. You've got the utility for the first time ever in some cases. Now you've got to do something with it, but you can't do it all internally. So you need to look for an outside solution provider that has that built into their functionality to help you. So I think the proliferation of cloud-based solutions also makes it the KPI functionality accessible to smaller and medium-sized companies that never felt they were part of the mix before. So technology is an enabler, it's a processor, and with the right solution in place, it allows you to convert that data into knowledge and that knowledge into actions, and that's what it's all about.
Sure. Nick, what's your thoughts there? I mean, I think that was an interesting point as well. The cloud has come across and basically it's leveled the playing field, hasn't it? You know, it means that the smaller companies can actually start offering equal, if not better, service than companies that have traditionally dominated in terms of service. I mean, how important is technology in this shift and being able to improve, develop the KPIs, measure, and then improve? How important is tech in that, Nick?
I think it's it is very important. I think it's one of the areas in terms of our roadmap where we're spending a lot of money on improving what we can offer as a technology. I think our customers and what we've been able to offer before has been always quite rich in being able to offer the KPIs so we can get reports out about how are we doing. Where we're looking at spending a lot of our investment at the moment is, as I said earlier, is about actually being able to offer some analytics around there. I think our customer base in the past, as I said, has been very good at getting out KPIs, but then it's understanding what those KPIs are telling us. And I think that's where the technology is going to move on in the next 2 to 3 years, is analysing that, and then also not just analysing it, but able to view what-if scenarios. Because again, previously, you can analyse it, you may make some changes to your systems, but perhaps you don't see what the effect of that is till 2 or 3 months down the line. So with what-if analysis as well, we can do the analysis and then we can run some what-if scenarios to actually see what the effect on the business would be there and then
Okay.
to enable us to make the right changes.
Yeah, so
Uh,
it's become more predictive rather than just iterative, so we can see it.
that's right. Yeah, are we actually making the right decisions?
Yeah, yeah. A question that's come in from the audience here, and I think you both, with the research being um, global, Bill, but also with your insight, Nick, with a number of different clients, I think that we can both put an interesting slant on this. We've had a question that's what does the effect of a geography have on the comparisons between, say, UK and US? For example, in the UK, distance isn't such a big issue, but the effect of congestion could be in terms of meeting ETAs and SLAs. And also, the UK consumer is a little bit more spoilt by 1 hour home delivery, says our attendee. What are your thoughts, Nick? In terms of the implementations you've put across different continents, because I think you mentioned Australasia as well as working in Europe and the UK. Is things like the size of a country, are these important factors to consider in when companies should be looking at certain solutions?
I, I think geography as a whole, whether whichever geography or whichever sort of area you're in, is huge. Some of our organisations, if you take the local government, housing associations, they actually work within quite a tight geographical area. Their
Sure.
stock is in a specific area. But even within those areas, the savings you can make by ensuring your workforce are in the correct place to service your customers is really key. So geography is absolutely relevant in the UK as it is in countries that have a larger geography. Um, we work both with national companies, so Carpet obviously is a national company,
Yeah.
whereas a lot of our local government are very niche in their areas. I think one of the things I talked about was smart appointment booking.
Mm.
Making that initial appointment or scheduling the job in the correct place when it first comes in is really key to ensuring your efficiency. Make the wrong if at that first point of contact you add in even 10 minutes of additional travel time, there's obviously a cost to that. If
Mm.
you could have arranged it at a place that would only add 2 or 3 minutes,
Yeah.
okay, and obviously that extrapolates up the bigger your geography gets. I think the other point there about the sort of appointment slots as well, I think that's a very good point. People are driving to think there's better customer service going for 1 hour or 2 hour slots, which is obviously great for your sort of supermarket drop-offs. But actually, where you're offering more of a service, 1 hour slots can be quite inefficient because it means the customer is expecting you to be there and perhaps even finish the job within that hour.
Yeah.
So it means actually, we believe that you have to increase your workforce by a percentage depending upon the size of your slots and what you're offering your customer. So it can have a diverse effect, a bad effect on your efficiency.
Absolutely, it's a very interesting point, Nick. It's all about managing customer expectations, really,
Yeah,
there's no point offering a 1 hour slot for a job that could potentially take 2-3 hours.
yeah.
And I suppose that translates even more so into the B2B realm as well. Bill, what's the transatlantic opinion on that? Is service harder to deliver in the States because of the sheer volume of distance, or is it a case that the basic rules apply across any kind of landmass, regardless of size?
Sure. Well, again, if you asked me this question 10 years ago, there'd be a very more distinct and differentiating answer compared to if you ask me this in another 10 years, where the answer is going to be it really doesn't make much difference.
Mm.
By that, what I mean is that we have always used examples in the United States of an outlying region in Manitoba province in Canada, or the town of Red Deer or something like that, where the mail only gets there once a week and
Yeah.
things of that nature. But they're really aberrations, and what's helping the overall situation is that with more customer interaction, the ability to initiate orders, with more use of remote diagnostics and remote servicing, that's eliminating altogether the impact of geography and traffic jams, et cetera, and so forth. But one really only has to look at the situation in India with respect to service over the past several decades, where you won't find a more dispersed country that's got population concentrations and rural areas and desert areas. And they've been the forerunners in terms of the customer being involved in the service activity, and they've been leaders in that area. So I think the short answer is that perhaps the UK has benefited over the past few decades, but really the dimensions of the country aren't going to be as important a factor as the breadth and the dimension of the service offering if it involves the proper scheduling and remote diagnostics and customer involvement in the service activity process.
Okay, and there's a brief taster there of what the full webinar was all about. However, you can access the entire webinar, including Bill's presentation, Nick's presentation, and the full Q&A as well. So do please just click the link below, fill out your details, and that webinar, all 1 hour and 20 minutes of it was a whopper this time around, can be yours. But for now, thank you as always for visiting Fuel Service News. Thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.